Night shrouded Mr. Harrison's house in a dark blanket, like a portent of something ominous. The winds whispered among the trees in howling felt voices, and the moon illuminated the yard with a dim light, creating flickering shadows. Mr. Harrison sat in his study, immersed in old picture albums. Through the dark panes of the windows came the faint sounds of the night, but something unusual made him raise his head. An indistinct whisper came from a dark corner of the room. Mr. Harrison shuddered, feeling a chill run down his skin. His gaze wandered to the dark corner where an ancient statuette depicting a human figure stood. He was surprised to notice that the shadow of the statuette seemed to come to life, slowly approaching him. "Who's there?" he whispered, but only received a mysterious screech in response, like a moaning wind. He stood up and took a step toward the dark corner. The statuette depicted an ancient spirit with a blank stare that seemed to be watching him. Suddenly, a strange glow appeared in the statuette's eyes. At that instant, a strange transformation began. The statue opened its arms as if reaching out to Mr. Harrison. The shadows in the room merged into one, creating a weaving pattern on the walls. Mr. Garrison could feel his own shadows breaking away from him and dancing around the statuette. The statuette began to make strange sounds, as if summoning ancient powers. The air was filled with a flickering light and the room was filled with a piercing aroma. Mr. Garrison felt his body grow light, as if he was beginning to lift off the ground. The moment he was slightly lifted in the air, the statue suddenly stopped. All sounds fell silent and the lights went out. A dead silence reigned in the room. Mr. Garrison felt his body slowly sink to the floor. He looked into the eyes of the statue and saw something sinister there. His own shadows turned on him and he felt their chilling grip tighten. A hoarse laugh echoed through the room, and Mr. Garrison felt that he was no longer alone. The shadows around the statuette merged together, forming a ghostly figure. It was an ancient spirit that had come to life from the statuette. It slowly approached Mr. Garrison, and in its eyes blazed fires of sinister light. Mr. Garrison realized that his own shadows had betrayed him, turning him into an instrument of ancient evil. The statue began to fade, and with it the shadows. Mr. Garrison was left lying on the floor, surrounded by darkness and cold. In the distance came the hoarse laughter of an ancient spirit. And then the night swallowed him back into its gloom. Now his home was a place where shadows danced, and the statue was the key to the ancient evil that had awakened the dark forces that lurked in the depths of the night.